Have there been moments when life feels unbearably heavy, when people you trusted disappear, and silence stretches around you like a shadow? Have you felt lost in routine, wondering if life will ever shift? These are not signs of failure. They are whispers of transformation. The Buddha taught that suffering is a doorway, not a prison. As the Dhammapada teaches, those who cultivate effort and mindfulness walk the path toward freedom and awakening. Those who stumble, who feel betrayed, or who wander aimlessly are walking toward gates that will open the path to change. Loss, disappointment, solitude. These experiences are teachers. They invite letting go, not as weakness, but as freedom. They demand attention, patience, and courage. When the familiar falls away, awareness awakens, and the quiet voice of wisdom begins to speak. The question is, will you hear it? Will you meet these trials with openness rather than resistance? These are the first signs that change is coming. The first step toward awakening. Signs of change. Life is whispering to you. Life rarely announces its turning points. It does not arrive with fanfare or ceremony. Often, it appears deceptively ordinary. A missed call, a forgotten promise, a project that collapses despite every ounce of effort. People brush these moments aside, unaware that they carry subtle messages, tiny tremors in the foundations of existence. The Buddha taught that suffering, dukkha, is not merely hardship to endure, but a doorway to awakening, a mirror revealing the habits of the mind and the attachments that bind the heart. Those who stumble, who feel betrayed, who wander without direction, are often already moving within the first currents of profound change. These signs do not shout. They appear as experiences that unsettle what once felt stable. Falling, wandering, and solitude arise not as punishments, but as conditions that quietly reshape the inner landscape. Falling loosens what the heart has clung to. Wandering dissolves the comfort of certainty. Solitude removes borrowed voices and leaves the mind face to face with itself. None of these are destinations. They are movements, subtle, often misunderstood, that prepare awareness for what cannot yet be seen. Together, they form the unseen curriculum of transformation. Long before clarity arrives, long before direction becomes visible, life begins its instruction through these experiences. Those who learn to notice them are not yet choosing a path, but they are being readied for one. The ground is shifting, attention is sharpening, and something within is being prepared to step forward. Falling, learning to let go. There are moments when the ground itself seems to vanish. Life cracks open. The future, once taken for granted, collapses. Wealth evaporates, health fails, loved ones are lost, or long-held beliefs shatter. People feel unmoored, as if the world no longer supports them. Fear surges. The heart pounds with disbelief. Every certainty dissolves. This is falling, not a stumble, not a minor disappointment. Falling to the bottom of experience, where nothing is familiar, where identity, security, and expectation are stripped bare. This is dukkha, the suffering that wakes the mind. The Buddha spoke of it as the necessary mirror, reflecting attachment, craving, and resistance. In these depths, the mind is forced to confront what it has relied on: permanence where none exists, control where none is possible, selfhood where only impermanence flows. Letting go, nekkhamma, is the path through this abyss. It is courage distilled. It is surrender without resignation. It is not fleeing pain, but turning toward it fully, feeling the fracture, observing the patterns of clinging, and releasing what binds the heart. Here, suffering becomes the teacher. When life shakes the foundations, a sudden death of a loved one, a betrayal that pierces the soul, a health crisis that strips agency, a deep loss of possession that robs the sense of security, the instinct is to resist, anger, panic, bargaining. Yet these reactions, though natural, reveal the subtle threads of attachment. The mind clings to certainty, to control, to identity. Freedom comes not in grasping, but in observing. Each wave of shock, each tremor of loss, each pulse of fear is a mirror. Awareness rises in the stillness between the pulses. In that silence, insight emerges. The self is not what was assumed, and life does not owe stability. Falling shapes discernment. When stripped to essentials, every value, every desire, every illusion is revealed. People begin to see which beliefs fortified resilience and which constructed fragile towers. Each devastation becomes instruction. Pain is no longer punishment, it is revelation. As the Dhammapada teaches, by effort and mindfulness, they who strive for freedom will awaken. The effort is not to control the world, but to observe the mind fully and to act with clarity. This is a falling that transforms. It teaches that life's support is not external. Wealth, people, status, or health, but the calm center of awareness. When the storm has shaken everything else away, what remains is the self observed without pretense. The heart breathing in the clarity that arises from truth. Falling to rock bottom is terrifying, but it is also a gateway. It demands courage, patience, and unwavering attention. The freedom it offers is profound. Freedom not given by circumstance, but earned by presence, observation, and release. Falling is initiation. Each tremor of life, each wave of devastation, each confrontation with impermanence is a threshold. Step through it consciously, and the first gate opens. The heart begins to know its own strength. The mind begins to see the impermanence of all grasped things. And slowly, inevitably, liberation begins. Subtle, enduring, and entirely internal. Wandering, finding the path through confusion. After the ground has fallen away, after life has cracked open to reveal its raw truth, there comes wandering. Not idle wandering, not the trivial meanderings of indecision, but a passage through the unknown. The heart, freshly unmoored, drifts across landscapes of uncertainty. Old maps are useless. Familiar signs are gone. Direction feels lost, and every step is tentative. This wandering is necessary. It can be seen as a part of the path, a period of sati. Mindful awareness, in which the mind, stripped of its habitual anchors, begins to notice. It observes itself as it reacts, recoils, and searches. The world offers no instruction here. The answers cannot be borrowed from tradition, advice, or expectation. They arise only in the attentive, watching mind. People may feel despair. The chaos is disorienting. The past offers no comfort, and the future appears opaque. Every decision feels weighted with uncertainty, and yet wandering is fertile ground. Here, the mind learns the patterns it had ignored. It sees the subtle clinging to certainty, the unexamined cravings, the assumptions that once seemed immutable. Each misstep is a teacher. Each hesitation, a mirror. Each night spent alone with thought illuminates what was previously hidden. Consider the one who has lost everything familiar, reputation, resources, or the illusions of control. At first, wandering feels endless, exhausting, purposeless. But slowly, subtle currents of understanding emerge. A thought arises. I cannot control the world. I cannot predict the next moment. Another. I am not defined by what I have lost. In these realizations, the mind begins to navigate not the external landscape, but the internal one. Direction is discovered not on streets or paths, but in clarity of perception. Wandering is also a crucible of patience. The Buddha taught that insight is not immediate. Awareness requires endurance, virya, and attention, sati. To walk through uncertainty without succumbing to fear, resentment, or despair is itself a form of practice. Every moment of confusion, every hesitation, every restless night is a lesson in steadiness. The mind learns to stand, unshaken, in the shifting sands of impermanence. Yet wandering does not mean stagnation. In the turbulence, choices present themselves. Some lead deeper into fear, some toward understanding. The distinction is subtle, and it is revealed only through presence. Observation becomes the compass. Decisions are not coerced by habit, not driven by impulse, not bound by expectation. They arise from a mind beginning to discern the essential from the superficial, the enduring from the ephemeral. There is a strange beauty in this disorientation. In the absence of certainty, in the unraveling of familiar patterns, clarity begins to emerge. A person learns to rely on inner guidance, to feel the gentle pulse of attention, to sense the quiet currents of wisdom that have always existed beneath distraction. Wandering period teaches self-trust. It teaches resilience. It teaches that even in the absence of support, even amid chaos, the mind can cultivate steadiness, insight, and direction. This stage, though challenging, is transformative. The Buddha emphasized that those who make persistent effort and maintain mindfulness can awaken. Wandering is the laboratory of the awakened mind. The friction of uncertainty polishes perception. The turbulence of loss awakens discernment. The solitude of uncharted paths cultivates patience. Those who endure this stage begin to see life differently. Every moment, every interaction, every choice becomes meaningful because the mind is awake to its own tendencies, its own patterns, its own freedom. The path through confusion is not linear. It twists, folds back, and stretches endlessly at times. But the one who walks it consciously learns the profound lesson. Life's uncertainty is not a threat, but a teacher. Direction is discovered not in certainty, but in attention. Purpose is revealed not in the external, but in the clarity of presence. Wandering is the second stage of change. To move through it is to engage fully with the chaos of existence, to meet fear without flinching, to observe the mind's impulses without being carried away. It is the phase where resilience grows, insight deepens, and the heart learns that even without solid ground beneath the feet, it is possible to move forward steadily, consciously, and with courage. Solitude, hearing the inner voice. After the fall and the wandering, there comes a silence so complete that it seems to press against the bones. The world recedes. Distractions vanish. Even the echoes of yesterday's chaos fade. In this stillness, the mind encounters itself fully, stripped of pretense, stripped of support, stripped of all borrowed light. Solitude is not loneliness. Loneliness is empty. Solitude is presence. It is the space in which the heart can breathe, the mind can settle, and awareness can grow. In the Buddha's teachings, Such attentive presence is called sati, mindfulness that observes experience clearly and without grasping. In this interior quiet, the subtle echoes of clinging and craving become audible. Seen directly, they loosen. Observed patiently, they release. This stage is terrifying. Many turn away. They fear the silence, fear the confrontation with themselves. Every habit, every attachment, every illusion rises into awareness. The self they thought they were, the stability they counted on, the certainty they leaned upon, all vanish. And yet, this is precisely the point. The destruction of the familiar reveals the eternal, the capacity of the mind to witness, to discern, to illuminate what was hidden in noise. The one who sits in such solitude discovers that guidance cannot be borrowed. No map can replace direct seeing. No instruction can substitute for presence. Teachers may point, but this encounter must be lived. Every insight arises from attention. Every understanding is shaped through sustained awareness. The Buddhist path has always rested on this truth. Awakening is cultivated through effort and mindfulness. Liberation does not arrive by force, nor by escape, but through steady, attentive engagement with experience as it is. Here, effort is gentle yet unwavering. Mindfulness is neither strained nor imposed. It simply remains. And in this remaining, wisdom reveals itself quietly, not as a command from outside, but as clarity emerging from within. Solitude transforms perception. Every thought, every fear, every hope is observed without attachment. The mind sees its patterns, its compulsions, its habitual tugs toward illusion. The heart notices its own rhythms, its own capacity for patience, its own depth of endurance. In this recognition, freedom emerges quietly, not as a grand revelation, but as a steady, luminous presence. The light was always there. It only needed the darkness to reveal it. Practical life mirrors this inner process. The one who has lost everything, who has been knocked to the foundation of existence, begins to see that happiness cannot be borrowed, cannot be constructed externally. It is cultivated intentionally in the space of awareness. Decisions, once reactive, become deliberate. Presence itself becomes a source of stability. The storms of loss, the tremors of uncertainty, the echoes of betrayal, all are met with a quiet, discerning mind. Each sensation, each impulse is a teacher, and in this dialogue with the self, clarity arises. Solitude also nurtures courage. To sit in the silence, to meet the full weight of life's upheaval without flinching, demands boldness. The world offers no external scaffolding here. Support must come from the mind itself, from the cultivated awareness that has emerged through falling and wandering. In this inner stillness, the heart learns patience, endurance, and profound discernment. This is the final threshold before transformation becomes conscious. Falling shattered the illusion of control. Wandering revealed the instability of certainty. Solitude teaches the self to stand on its own, to observe without interference, and to awaken to its own inner guidance. It is here that the gates open fully. The mind, once reactive, becomes attentive. The heart, once entangled, becomes free. The self, once lost in chaos, recognizes the enduring presence beneath all change. In solitude, the soul whispers. And if one listens, truly listens, it speaks of freedom, of clarity, of resilience. It shows that even when the world is gone, when every external anchor fails, the internal compass remains. The Buddha's teaching is alive in this space. Awareness, effort, and release converge. The mind sees its patterns, the heart rests in presence, and life, even at its most harrowing, becomes the path itself, illuminated, intentional, and awake. The three spiritual gates, the doors to liberation. There comes a moment when the mind, heart, and life itself feel unmoored. What once seemed stable now wavers. Comforts dissolve, certainties collapse, and the familiar no longer supports the steps you thought you could take. In these moments, the Buddha taught that liberation is reached through the cultivation of insight, mindfulness, and freedom from attachment. The path is experienced as a series of thresholds, gates that the mind, heart, and spirit must pass to awaken fully. In meditation and Buddhist practice, these thresholds can be understood as the three spiritual gates: emptiness, Suññatā, signlessness, Animitta, and wishlessness, Appaṇihita, guides pointing to the freedom that lies within. These are not gates built of wood or stone, nor doors marked with signs. They are thresholds of experience, subtle yet unyielding, that invite the mind to wake from complacency, the heart to open beyond fear, and the spirit to recognize its own freedom. Each gate demands presence, courage, and unwavering attention. They are passages through which the self must move to discover the deeper reality beneath all appearances. The first gate, emptiness, asks the mind to release the illusion of independent permanence, to see that nothing exists in isolation. The second gate, signlessness, calls the heart to look beyond labels, judgments, and appearances, to perceive life as it truly is. The third gate, wishlessness, challenges the spirit to release the restless pursuit of what is not yet, to rest in the freedom that is already present. Walk through these gates consciously. Observe, endure, and release. Do not expect the world to transform. The outer landscape may remain unpredictable, but the inner ground shifts profoundly. Falling, seeing, and surrendering in these gates cultivates the clarity, steadiness, and luminous presence that liberation requires. Beyond them, life is not simpler, but the mind, heart, and spirit are free. The gate of emptiness, Suññatā, emptiness, or Suññatā in Pali, is a profound realization at the heart of Buddhist practice. It is not nihilism, not despair, and not a void to be feared. Rather, it is the insight that no person, object, thought, or emotion possesses an independent, permanent self. Everything arises in relation to everything else. Nothing exists in isolation. In the Anattalakkhana Sutta, the Buddha taught that all conditioned, compounded phenomena are impermanent and lack a permanent self. Understanding this truth, seeing that there is no enduring I in body, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, or consciousness, is the beginning of awakening and the insight that forms the first gate of liberation. Entering this gate is not a matter of intellectual understanding alone. The mind may recite the words, repeat the phrases, and feel they are true, yet the heart remains entangled in subtle clinging. Suññatā demands direct experience. It is a seeing that dissolves the boundaries between self and other, inside and outside, subject and object. Every attachment, every grasping, every insistence on solidity is questioned. You begin to perceive life as a web of interdependent arising, a continuous flow in which nothing endures in the way you once imagined. The recognition of emptiness does not come gently. At first, it can be disorienting. The habits of thought that once offered certainty, identity, desire, expectation appear fragile, insubstantial. Objects lose their permanence, roles fade, even the familiar sense of I begins to waver. This is not an annihilation, but a revealing. What you mistook for stability was always shifting, and what you held as selfhood was always interwoven with the currents of impermanence. In the practice of Suññatā, observation becomes the teacher. Each emotion, each sensation, each thought is examined without grasping. Joy and grief, pride and fear, clinging and aversion, all are seen arising and passing away as clouds drift across an endless sky. The sky itself remains untouched. Awareness rests in that spaciousness, and gradually, the mind experiences the first taste of freedom, the freedom of seeing without attachment, of witnessing without judgment, of resting in the unbound. The implications of this gate extend into every aspect of life. Relationships are transformed, for the compulsion to possess, control, or define others loosens. Success and failure cease to imprison the heart, because the desire for permanence has been questioned. Even suffering, once terrifying in its intensity, becomes a teacher rather than a tyrant. Each moment is recognized as fluid, contingent, and fleeting, yet within this flux, a profound stability arises, the clarity of seeing things as they truly are, without the distortions of ego, expectation, or fear. Walking through the gate of emptiness requires courage. It asks that you release the comfort of certainty, the illusion of permanence, and the illusion of self. Yet, in surrendering these, something vast opens. A subtle liberation emerges, a spaciousness in which the mind is no longer imprisoned by habitual clinging. It is here that insight begins to deepen. Here, the pulse of life is felt not as a series of gains and losses, but as a continuous unfolding in which the heart can move freely, no longer fettered by the weight of imagined permanence. The first gate is not a single threshold, crossed once and forgotten. It is a living practice, moment by moment, breath by breath. Awareness of emptiness must be cultivated in every interaction, every sensation, every decision. Each time attachment arises, each time craving surfaces, each time identity asserts itself, you return to the observation of flow and dependence. This repeated witnessing, this patient and unwavering attention, is the practice that solidifies freedom. To enter the gate of emptiness is to begin the journey into a mind that does not grasp, a heart that does not cling, and a life that flows in accordance with reality as it truly is. It is the first threshold of liberation, the first luminous clearing through which all subsequent gates, signlessness and wishlessness, can be approached with clarity, courage, and the gentle steadiness of an awakened mind. The gate of signlessness, Animitta. At the threshold of Animitta, the gate of signlessness, the mind confronts the illusion of appearances. The Buddha taught that people, objects, and events are habitually misperceived through the lens of signs, labels and judgments like good or bad, desirable or repulsive, friend or enemy. These distinctions, though familiar, veil the underlying truth. Everything arises and passes in dependence on conditions. To pass through this gate is to perceive life without the habitual filter of interpretation, to recognize that all signs are provisional, contingent, and ultimately deceptive. Observation unfolds in subtle layers. A leaf drifting on water is neither beautiful nor ordinary. A moment of sorrow is neither punishment nor misfortune. Labels dissolve, leaving only the raw, unmediated experience. Each sensation, each event, each encounter is perceived in its own unfolding, without judgment, without attachment, without expectation. Animitta is not a conceptual insight, but a direct, lived understanding of the impermanence and interconnectedness of all things. Resistance emerges naturally. The mind clings to signs because they offer orientation, comfort, and familiarity. Every impulse to categorize, to distinguish, to judge is a subtle tether, binding perception to illusion. Crossing the gate demands allowing these impulses to arise and pass without interference. Fear, discomfort, and doubt may surge, yet each moment of observation without grasping strengthens clarity. The mind learns to remain steady in the flux, neither rejecting nor clinging to what appears. A profound transformation occurs as the habitual distinctions begin to fade. Success and failure, love and loss, self and other, all lose the rigid authority once granted. Life is experienced not as a series of dichotomies, but as a seamless flow, each moment arising and passing in relation to all others. The absence of imposed meaning reveals a quiet, radiant freedom. Attention rests naturally on what is present, unclouded by projections or narratives. This freedom is active and exacting. The mind must endure the subtle instability that arises when familiar anchors of judgment no longer apply. Every interaction, every perception, every sensation becomes a test of presence and discernment. Nothing outside demands control. All is simply observed as it arises. In this observant stillness, insight deepens, revealing the interdependent nature of existence. Through the gate of signlessness, attachment to appearances loosens. The mind no longer reacts compulsively to labels or signs. Each event is witnessed in its impermanence and interconnection. In this clarity, the restless pursuit of meaning begins to soften, preparing the way for the third gate, wishlessness, where desire and striving for the future finally release their grip, and the heart learns to rest fully in the present. The gate of wishlessness, Appaṇihita. Beyond the illusion of permanence and the veil of signs lies the gate of wishlessness, Appaṇihita. Here, the endless pursuit of something more dissolves. The Buddha taught that craving for future satisfaction, for outcomes not yet realized, binds the mind in perpetual unrest. Every thought of becoming or achieving is a subtle chain, tethering attention to what is absent rather than allowing presence with what is. Crossing this gate is not about denial. It's the profound recognition that liberation does not depend on acquisition, accumulation, or transformation of the self into something else. Restlessness surfaces with startling clarity. Habits of seeking, striving, and desiring rise like waves, each demanding attention. The mind clutches at imagined fulfillment, clinging to fantasies of comfort, security, and identity. Yet in the midst of these currents, a stillness emerges. Observation deepens, revealing that the chase itself is the source of suffering. The future, once idolized, reveals its impermanence. Its promises are empty, its allure transient. With each impulse noticed and released, the mind becomes lighter, more spacious, less entangled in illusions of necessity. In this stage, patience is cultivated in a subtle, demanding form. The temptation to grasp, to plot, to control, to hope is relentless. But the silence of Appaṇihita teaches endurance without effort. Desire is not crushed or denied. It is witnessed, observed, and allowed to pass. In this gentle surrender, insight grows. The mind discovers that contentment is not elsewhere, that freedom is not in reaching, but in resting fully with what is. This is the paradox of wishlessness. Liberation arises not from the fulfillment of longing, but from its cessation. Reality unfolds with astonishing clarity. Life, once filtered through anticipation and disappointment, is experienced directly. Every sensation, every encounter, every breath becomes a teacher. The compulsion to achieve, to escape, or to become dissolves into presence. In the absence of striving, the heart experiences a rare kind of calm, not imposed, but naturally arising from the deep recognition that nothing is required to awaken. Time itself seems to shift. The past no longer weighs. The future no longer beckons. Attention rests fully in the immediacy of being. Through Appaṇihita, the mind touches a subtle liberation. The pull of craving relaxes. The restlessness of expectation fades. Decisions are guided not by desire or fear, but by clarity and discernment. Each moment, once fraught with tension, becomes luminous with possibility. In the quiet of this wishlessness, presence itself becomes the source of stability, insight, and enduring peace. The final gate is not a destination, but a continuous, lived experience, the natural unfolding of awakening in the midst of life, unshaken by circumstance, untethered by need. Awakening through the gates, living freedom in every moment. The journey through the signs of change in the three gates is not a lesson to memorize, nor a destination to reach. It is a living, breathing unfolding of awareness. Falling, wandering, and solitude strip away what the world taught you to cling to, certainty, control, identity, and leave the mind bare, trembling, yet awake. Through this clearing, the gates of emptiness, signlessness, and wishlessness open not as abstract concepts, but as doorways into the raw, luminous heart of life itself. True freedom does not lie in escaping suffering, or in collecting comfort, or in clinging to fleeting victories. It arises when you meet life exactly as it is, when each shock, each loss, each moment of stillness becomes a teacher. Fear no longer rules the heart. Attachment loosens its grip. Desire no longer drags you into restless pursuit. What remains is a subtle, unwavering clarity, a luminous steadiness that can hold the storm and the silence alike. This awakening is not an event. It is a practice embedded in every breath, every step, every encounter. Emptiness teaches that nothing exists alone, that clinging is illusion. Signlessness dissolves the tyranny of judgment, labels, and appearances. Wishlessness shows that liberation is already here, not somewhere ahead. These truths are not ideals to chase. They are realities to inhabit, moment by moment, transforming ordinary life into a living meditation. The gates demand patience, courage, and vigilance. Life will continue to tremble. Loss will recur. Uncertainty will persist. Yet within you, a quiet stability grows. Choices are guided not by fear or desire, but by clear seeing. Relationships breathe freely, no longer suffocated by grasping. Joy arrives like sunlight on a calm morning. Suffering becomes a mirror, revealing the contours of the mind. Every experience becomes a chance to practice freedom, a pulse of awakening in the ordinary. Awakening through the gates is not a conclusion. It is a continuous, ever-deepening unfolding. Each day is a new threshold, each challenge a new invitation. Life, in its full brilliance, becomes both path and teacher. Falling, wandering, resting in silence, observing without clinging. releasing without resistance. Through these acts, freedom ceases to be a distant horizon. It becomes your constant companion, your inner light, your way of being in the world. Here, life is no longer measured by gains or losses, beginnings or ends. Every moment is awake. Every heartbeat is free. And in this luminous presence, the mind, the heart, and the spirit stand unshaken, radiant, and fully alive. If this wisdom resonates with you, please like this video and subscribe to join us on the path of conscious living.